Can you tell me a little about what problem jostlers
Problem Jostlers, actually, yeah, this is the first original official Problem Jostler from almost 30 years ago. I, you know, Problem Jostlers are words, phrases, quotes, and other things that I've collected over the years that I have realized are good at jostling my problems. Because when I struggle with my problems, quite often in my struggle, my problems choke me or trip me up or chafe me, and I'm so uncomfortable in my problemness that other people try to come and solve my problem for me because they're so uncomfortable, and that doesn't really work. So finding ways of actually showing that my problems are some of my best features or essentially allow me to be myself. But again, how I do this in a public way has been this generative force to sort of identify the things that I help so that I can handle my problems and walk with my problems with a little bit more dignity, grace, and aplomb. So the body is drag for the soul was this articulation that came from 30 years ago, people talking about, oh, it's just a meat suit. Our bodies are just meat suits. And then I thought about it's like, oh, I'm more of a tube, a leaky tube. And then I reflected more about this idea. It's like, no, it's just drag. It's drag for who I am because bodies change every single day in our lives from when we're born all the way through it. But even in the seemingly sameness of these small divisions of time to day, we are actually very different, and how we experience our body is very different. So it's just drag, and we have to learn how to play with our drag and have more fun with our drag. But then we go on from there, and now, at one point there were probably over 200 documented problem jostlers that then got lost in a computer failure. And so over the last 5, 6 years, I've been reconstructing them and finding new ones, and then finding ways of sharing them. So we did some T-shirts a few years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that, with this on it, but in a different font. And then I also have been doing them as postcards, and specifically postcards that are formatted so that people can find one that speaks to them, and then they address it to themselves, write themselves a little note if they like to, and then they put it into a little mailbox that I constructed, and with the promise that in 6 months I will put a stamp on it and put it in the mailbox so they receive a message from their former self. You know, this idea of communicating with yourself and being reflective and seeing that we have a relationship with our various selves over time and space is a part of that, and how we hold those things consciously and subconsciously is what the problem jostlers are hopefully providing, and that hopefully inspire other people to start thinking about what are the things that get them in their own lives that allow them to jostle their problems so they can be walk better with it with a little bit more dignity, grace, and aplomb.